When it comes to green promises, Boris Johnson is now almost overturned with euphoria. The offshore wind farms of the British coasts are intended to make his country the Saudi Arabia of wind power, as the Prime Minister likes to emphasize. In a few weeks, Johnson wants to present his country as a climate protection pioneer at the World Climate Conference in Glasgow in Scotland. His voice sounds different when he talks about those who actually want the same thing. Irresponsible crusties, that's what Johnson called the activists of the group Insulate Britain, who have been making a name for themselves with their protests for weeks. He said that in an interview with LBC on Tuesday. The representatives of Insulate Britain, who took Johnson's words calmly, are calling for comprehensive thermal insulation of houses in Great Britain, so far a major weakness in British climate policy. A strategy for more climate-friendly buildings is still a long way off. Patel speaks of so-called eco-warriors. Compared to his Home Secretary, Johnson chose even more harmless words. In her speech at the Conservative Party conference in Manchester on Tuesday, Priti Patel spoke of so-called eco-warriors who trample our way of life and waste police resources. And the reason is, Insulate Britain repeatedly paralyzes traffic with its actions. The activists stuck to the lanes of the London Ring Road or blocked the port entrance of Dover, even after the courts had already issued injunctions against the group. Those who resist could go to prison, it said. So now the even harder edge. Although Patel already tightened the thumbscrews last year and gave the police more power at demonstrations, their zero-tolerance policy towards civil disobedience now goes a few steps further. The maximum penalty for blocking important traffic access, such as highways, is to be increased, as she announced in the midst of cheering party friends. In addition, the police and courts will be given new powers to stop activists who travel across the country to protest. The fact that their concerns could be useful in order to legitimize an ambitious climate policy, as the Johnson government has at least set out to do, has so far not been a powerful argument in London government circles. However, the UK is also less confronted with groups like Fridays for Future, whose worst offence is usually not going to school on Fridays. Groups such as Insulate Britain or Extinction Rebellion are more present, whose strategy is more focused on resistance, blockade and arousal. A joint press conference on Downing Street with those who take to the streets for the climate, as Chancellor Angela Merkel gave with Fridays for Future activist Greta Thunberg and Luisa Neubauer, seems far from imagination. It remains to be seen whether the hundreds of thousands who are expected to protest around the climate conference in Glasgow will change that. And I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.